Hello and welcome to a new morning briefing presented by Stein Investments. I'd like to start this video and this trading week with a quick view on this week's economic calendar here presented by Forex Factory, just to see if there is anything to be considered for today's trading or the next days. As you can see, this Monday there is nothing that has a high impact to the market. But on Tuesday, we start with CPI news for the Canadian dollar. Then on Wednesday, we have CPI news for the British pound, some US dollar news events that are always interesting, and the Bank of Canada will announce their future money policy and interest rates. There, you have to especially be careful at the press conferences because these are usual events with a higher volatility. Then we have the CPI for the New Zealand dollar on Thursday, as well as the main refinancing rate for the euro, which is also a very interesting event. And on Thursday, I would definitely recommend to not trade because the ECB events mostly as critical as the Fed events, and there's usually no real trend up fronted. So just take care of it. The week ends with some Easter holidays in most European countries, and so we'll probably see less volatility, and I will have a free day on Friday and Easter Monday as well. So that's it from the news side. As we've seen for today, there's nothing to be considered. But starting from tomorrow, we have to have a closer look on the pairs we trade. So let's go on with the market analysis, and we see this spike here in the data feed on gold positions. I don't know why this happened, maybe a little bug, and they fixed it pretty quickly. And if you see such a huge spike to the upside, this has a negative impact on these lines because the scale is always drawn from the lowest value to the highest value with some buffer to the up and downside. And if we have such an extreme move, in this case probably caused you a data error, then you can't see how the other lines moved at this time. And this is pretty easy to fix because you just have to press the plus button on your keyboard and then you zoom in, or you just switch to a lower time frame like M1, and then you'll get a more detailed insight and a closer look to the real changes that are currently happening in the market. And we see that the retail trading volumes started pretty good with a pretty stable up move and then dropped quickly after the first hour of the London session to the downside. There has been no news, as we've already checked, but it's obviously the case that the retail traders don't trust these moves or this market currently and better stay at the sideline or even close their positions as we've seen here. Nonetheless, there are some interesting moves. The Swiss franc and the Japanese yen are currently pretty weak, and I became aware of them as I got an volume alert from the custom alerts tool that pointed me to a rising interest in Japanese yen short positions. And so I checked the yen pairs and traded the yen short against other currencies that are clearly on the upside, and there have been only two. One is the Aussie dollar and the other one is the New Zealand dollar. So I have currently two positions running on these pairs. This is a completely different strategy than the easy scalping because there has been no trigger point for the easy scalping, at least not at the time I was trading. It happened here, and this is before my working time, and so I'm pretty late in this trend. Other traders that use the easy scalping strategy would have gotten their entry signal already here and would have got their fair share already. So the other yen pairs are not that interesting. Here we see the British pound is just neutral, even though there is some upwards dynamic, but I didn't pull the trigger on this one. And the euro is also on the neutral side currently. So yeah, I've stick with just those two Japanese yen trades, and I'm waiting for further easy scalping entries, as I've got one here on the Euro USD earlier this morning. But you see the price is currently stagnating. There is currently no interest in opening new positions, and this may change, but right now we are just break even. But I let the position run and see what comes out next. So that's it from the volume side and the first easy scalping trades. And if we have a look at the currency overview, we get a first impression that the euro is neutral at almost all analysis periods. The British pound is rising, currently looking to the upside, but it has some good dynamic, but we'll see how this will end, or if those will come back and be more in line with the euro that is currently showing no dynamic to the upside. Then we have the Canadian dollar, which is a light sell. The US dollar, which is a very strong sell, even though it's currently showing some dynamic to the upside with the short-term analysis here on neutral, but I'm pretty sure this will come back to the downside later today. Then we have the Swiss franc, which is split, the Japanese yen, which is going to the downside and also confirms what we've seen in the volume analysis. And Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar are the only one that are really on the strong side, even though New Zealand dollar is currently weakening short term. But I guess this offers just only new opportunities to go long on the New Zealand dollar. Let's move on to our non-Forex trading symbols. And there we start with the Bitcoin as usual. This time I traded an easy scalping entry on the Bitcoin as well, just to give it a try. I usually don't trade the Bitcoin. I have some crypto coins in my wallet, but I don't trade them actively. This was just to test what this signal will give. The first one happened here, but it dropped down quickly before I could execute the trade. The second one appeared here, and this was the one I've taken. And you see it's currently ranging. We'll see how this will turn out later today. Then we have oil with a very dynamic uptrend. Very interesting, because I expected it weaker after the news of the last week and the fears that the economies may go down. It seems there is still enough demand for oil, so oil is currently rising. Then we have the Dow Jones pre-market in a very strong uptrend, at least long-term and mid-term, but currently going a bit to the downside short-term. Not surprising, it's just pre-market, so we'll see what happens after New York opened, and then we'll see the US shares market will really evolve. Then the German DAX is currently a bit undecided, doesn't know what to do. And I guess the German or European traders are waiting for the New York opening as well to see how they can position themselves for the rest of the week. So that's pretty much it. We'll spend the rest of the day with the design works and the coding of the first prototype of our new trades manager. And I'm really curious and looking forward to present you the first prototype here on chart the next days. That said, I wish you a great start into the new week. Please keep in mind that you check the economic news calendar daily, and I wish you a great day and see you in the next one.